And the Four of Clubs is about the frame of knowledge. And the symbolism of the four is a box, and clubs is the mind. You had been given one story, and it was boxing you in, and you didn't fit in that box. So
Wow.
your journey was to reframe what even intelligence means. You are now live from the source with Viki and Alexander. Live your life from the source. Play your cards right. What's your number? Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Live from the Source. I'm your host, Alexander.
And I'm Viki.
Also your host. And we're here with an exciting, lovely, amazing guest, Jen Aks. And Viki's going to read her bio now.
Jen Aks is a speaker and author who coaches people how to reconnect with their body's wisdom as a means to unlocking their most powerful, authentic leadership. She guides clients to lead with clarity and confidence in navigating families, managing teams, and facing personal challenges. With over 30 years of experience as a dance educator and somatic expert, Jen created The Power of Gesture, a groundbreaking body set practice that serves as the missing piece to mindset, guiding people to process emotions, break limiting patterns, and trust their inner guidance. From corporate leadership retreats to intimate workshops, Jen has led transformational experiences nationwide, demonstrating that body set isn't just personal development, it's the foundation of authentic leadership that creates ripple effects throughout entire organizations. Wow. Fantastic.
Welcome, Jen.
Yes. Welcome. We're so excited
Thank you.
that you're here with us. And I also want to say, so we do talk cards also. And Jen is born on April 30th. And her cards to play are, she has a birth card of a Four of Clubs and a personality card of the Jack of Spades. So I'm excited to get into that and how that correlates with your life experiences.
Me too.
So the Four of Clubs is a card of a wisdom keeper, someone who's building structures of knowledge and setting up a framework that other people can participate in. It's like you're here to build a foundation for our world. So how would you see what you're doing as an expression of that?
Oh, that's incredible. I have chills all over my body. I feel that's what I'm doing. The awakening, my hope is that through this work, I awaken this understanding that we have this divine, innate intelligence within us that is truly, in my opinion, the most reliable source of guidance that we have. And we have forgotten how to listen to it. It's not that we never knew, because we did. Our ancestors certainly did. We just have forgotten, and we haven't been really taught how to listen. So I do feel that this mission to awaken not only stops there, but it really helps us listen and tune in, trust what we hear. And then my hope is that people then lead from that place authentically from the inside out. And so if we do that, I think, like I said, the ripple effect just goes throughout the world, which speaks to your question. I really think that this is life-changing for so many people, life-opening, not changing, but really opening for our entire world.
Yeah. Well, I was going to follow up with that by asking, in your bio, you mentioned that it's a practice that you're helping people to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's also a framework and a mindset that you're helping people to develop?
Yeah. So to start there, we have focused so much on mindset. There are so many books, so many articles, so much teaching about mindset, and it's very important. And what I'm introducing is body set and bringing people into that deep awareness of that body wisdom. So it is the complement to mindset. Is it a framework and a methodology, or it is a practice, like you said, right? It's a practice. So I've created a somatic based body set practice as a dance educator for over 30 years and someone who's done a lot of research on the body. I understand the wisdom and how it really is a tool for us. So I've created a practice called the power of gesture that helps us awaken and listen and trust and be led by the guidance from within. And the power of gesture is a somatic, like I said, kinesthetic based practice that uses the hand. So, yes, that's the practice. And then the framework in my book, I take people through my 3E framework. It's embody, empower, and elevate. And I could explain that if you want me to, but there's a framework to follow and then the practice that takes us through the framework. Yeah.
Beautiful. It sounds like a beautiful expression of your birth card. And the birth card shows us our life's purpose, what we're here to do. And you're here to set this foundation, and applying your powerful mental energy in your study. It sounds like, because you mentioned you've studied the body and you've studied what the body needs. And so applying that wisdom to help people develop a body set. It's really beautiful.
This work is just so important. I do really believe that we have forgotten about our bodies as a collective. Like, we just ignore them in some ways, in a big way, on a big level. Like, it is a lot of focus on the mind and our thoughts, and there's a balance of like all the dimensions of our human being. And so it's just so important to really have relationships with our bodies and tune into our bodies and acknowledge our bodies and receive the wisdom from our bodies. I know that for myself, I've had to do that in my life, especially like I'm playing a 5 of diamonds, and diamonds are all about the physicality of life, what we perceive with our 5 senses, the physical, the hardness, things that we can touch. I ignored it. I ignored that wisdom for most of my life, and it's more recently in the last like 10, 15 years that I'm really paying attention to my body's so freaking smart, and it's magical and wonderful. I want to ask you so where did all of this come from? Tell us about your journey. I do want to hear more about your book and the you said 3 keys, I want to say. But I want to hear your journey. I'd like to get into your journey first, like how you even came about all of this for yourself, like tuning into this. And
yeah, thank you. So it really starts as a young kid in the classroom, feeling extremely disconnected from the way I was taught in school. Everything was taught in this very boxed in, linear, logical, mathematical way of presentation, of learning. And it just didn't resonate with me at all. And, the black and white on the pages, and it was like, by the book, everything. And it was very traditional, even the setup in a classroom, just, organized in rows and looking forward. I didn't know what I needed, but what I did know is that I was lost and the information was not landing in my body. I wasn't able to really hold on to all of the information. And so I also, by the way, did do well on these measures of success and intelligence, which is the SATs and the grades and the IQ scores and all of that. I mean, it was fine. It's not like I failed out of everything, but I just didn't do well on any of it. So I created a story about myself that I wasn't smart. And this story took deep root inside of my body, and it completely disconnected me from the truth of who I am. It really, I could say, hijacked my confidence, and my self-worth. And for years, I lived with such doubt and such pain and embarrassment and shame. And the good news, though, during all of those years, which was about 20, I had dance. Dance was really connecting me to something extraordinary. I didn't know until I did the research, but it kept me grounded in my body, and it kept me somewhat confident in myself because I had to perform and use my body in all of these ways and express. It was like a form of storytelling and connection and all these things. But still, I had this deep insecurity, and it really, was hard for me for a very long time. But in my late 20s, I had my rock bottom moment, which we talked about before we got on the call just briefly. I was invited to dinner with John F. Kennedy Jr. and his wife, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. And I was dating, ironically, at the time, this like Harvard graduate, Yale, a master's degree. And I was just like, oh my God. But I was with him for a long time, and he thought I was pretty smart, I guess, right? But anyhow, so we were together, and he was very good friends with John F. Kennedy Jr. And he said, we're going to go to dinner with him. And my whole body just kind of like went up in flames. And I saw all this craziness. I saw like him asking me questions about literature I never read, or like math problems that I couldn't solve or something, just because he was the president's son, the former president, So I said no to this invitation because I couldn't get myself together. And I did not tell my boyfriend at the time because I had so much shame about this at this point in my life. So he went on his way. I had my rock bottom moment that night. And I really just decided that night, like, no more. This is just not okay. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm smart. I got to figure out what the hell is going on. So my life started really moving in a lot of different directions. And I found this research from Howard Gardner, a Harvard professor, and he's also a psychologist, and Daniel Goleman, who is a science journalist and psychologist. And I started learning about their research, which was about different forms of intelligence. There are many, 9, that they deem as intelligent. And Daniel Goleman specifically is about emotional intelligence. I'm sure you both know this. And Howard Gardner really talks about 9 different types. So I aligned with my emotional and kinesthetic intelligence. And those 2 things really went hand in hand. And I became super empowered. Kinesthetic, meaning, as you know, but for your listeners, the body's physical ability to learn, process, communicate, express through movement, like a dancer, like an athlete, like a surgeon, like an artist, right? Using the body as a vehicle. So then it made sense why dance kept me grounded and safe as much as I could feel safe. And emotional intelligence, which made complete sense to me because I have, I love connection. I love people. I can understand my own emotions and those of others. And so those 2 forms and this research really changed my life. And a lot happened after that, but that was the beginning of that. And I can continue to tell you how I got here, but I feel like I'm talking a lot. Should I just keep going?
I want to jump in because I am loving your story. And for you and for our listeners, I want to point out that the main reason why we wanted to start this podcast is we want to talk to people just like you and hear your story and hear how you played your cards right, literally how you did it. And the 4 of clubs is about the frame of knowledge, and the symbolism of the 4 is a box and clubs is the mind. And what I'm hearing you say is that what changed your life was you reframed the whole idea of what knowledge actually means and intelligence. You had been given one story that you mentioned was like a box, and it was boxing you in, and you didn't fit in that box. So your journey was to reframe what even intelligence means, and to find through your research, which is a mental activity, to find through your research a whole new mental understanding of intelligence. And that became the new foundation for you. And the 4 is about setting a foundation. So I'm just fascinated by how you found the way to play your cards right. I love it.
Wow.
And you were young.
So
like, to me, that's young.
incredible. I was.
Yeah.
And you know what was really interesting, and I'm so curious to know what you have to say about this piece, um, is that after I found these two forms of intelligence, and like you said, kind of reframed intelligence and what that means, I really became empowered to help others or inspired to help others. And that's when I found National Dance Institute, which is a kinesthetic way of learning. And this organization is all about empowering children through the arts, teaching them curriculum through the arts. And I thought, oh my God, like this is what I needed when I was a child. So now I'm going to go help these children and make sure that no one feels the way I felt in school. And so I was riveted by this methodology. And so it not only healed my path, it empowered me and inspired me to continue and impact, the teachers and the children that I served for so many years. And then when the pandemic hit and those schools shut down and I couldn't reach the people, I knew I still wanted to help people. So I started, and I knew that I could with the knowledge and the kinesthetic work that I'd been doing and the teaching and the movement, all of it. So I started meeting people on Zoom and I asked them to embody their emotions because I knew we were going through such traumatic times and we needed something. So I asked them to embody their emotions with their hands and stay close to the camera because I didn't want them to get up and do this big dance thing. I need to feel that emotional intelligence, right? I need to feel their energy in order to understand what they were dealing with. So I asked them to just use their hands. I had no idea what I was going to see, which was wild transformation. Then I did the research around the brain hand connection. And it all made sense to me why we were able to shift how we feel so quickly and understand and unlock this intelligence within us, hence the power of gesture. And now my work and my book, so that was the sequence. So I just find it interesting as I'm talking with the frame that you're providing, which I so appreciate.
Yeah, it is literally you playing your cards right, because I want to add to that by saying that the four of clubs is your birth card, and then the jack of spades, that's your personality card. And so you would express all your knowledge through the jack of spades archetype, and he is the uber creative prince who is an artist and is theatrical and is also the spiritual initiate, and he loves to create. It's a very creative, playful energy, and the symbolism is he's holding a magic
Mm,
wand. So with that research that you did that reframed your whole idea of intelligence, then you're able to be very creative with the application of that intelligence to create artistry with it. And that sounds like what you did.
He's also
wow.
super independent and likes
Yeah,
to do things his own way, not the way maybe that you learned in school, like that
that's right.
resistance there is like, oh, wait, I have a different way that I want to find for myself. That's absolutely also that personality card of the Jack of Spades.
Yeah, he
Mm.
very very much would not fit into traditional ways of doing things. He would not appreciate being told what to do or told to follow the rules. So you would be a rule breaker. You like to do it your own way.
Wow, that's interesting. I was thinking recently that, yeah, I don't live in the lines, in the structure, from what I wear to how I am, but it's not in a rebellious way. It's really from just what I believe and what I feel to be true, which also fascinates me because I wasn't that confident growing up. Now it's all kind of, lined up, even though I still have the insecurities like everybody else. But for the most part, I'm just able to do that. And I find it kind of interesting that I'm able to do that.
Not all salt is created equal. For over 40 years, Celtic sea salt has been hand harvested from pristine coastal waters, rich in minerals, unrefined, and naturally delicious. We can definitely vouch for that. Sprinkle it on your favorite dishes and taste the difference. Pure, authentic, full of life. Trusted by chefs, nutritionists, and families worldwide, because your body deserves more than just salt, it deserves Celtic sea salt. Celtic sea salt, nature's gift from the sea to your table.
We love Celtic sea salt. We use it on all our food, and sometimes for an energy boost, I just take a little bit on my tongue, just like that. You're just so inspiring in your power, like in how you've shifted these things for yourself. I just find to be like awe-inspiring. And I want to, one of the things that was coming to me as you were talking about, for example, the dinner that you were invited to, and how, the thoughts that came into your head, and that, these basically it's beliefs about like what the conversation would be, and beliefs about yourself that you didn't want to go there, which I think is so relatable. I mean, as you were saying, I was like, oh my God, I've had similar things, like of feeling fearful of like a conversation and what someone's going to ask me, and that I'm not going to have the answer. I'm going to have absolutely no idea how to talk about that. I have done the exact same thing. So it's also very healing just to hear, you say the same thing, the same fear, I mean, that's just healing in and of itself. In the life path of cards, so we don't have just the first two cards, we have a life path of cards, and the cards show all the different aspects of our human being, and the cards are a template that are based on the date of birth. So we come in playing those cards. So already in your cards to play, you're having certain cards that are showing the things that you're talking about. And the Saturn card, which is about life lessons and challenges, and also the Pluto card, which is about unconscious hidden fears. For you, someone playing the Four of Clubs as your birth card, they're both spades. Okay. They are the Four of Spades and the Eight of Spades. Spades represent consciousness and belief systems. So the places where there's challenge are about belief systems, about yourself, life, other people. So therefore you're already like at a young age, like feeling that, like sort of stuck in a box in what you believe about yourself. That's the four, stuck in the box on the low side. The eight is about being in the flow of beliefs and consciousness. And there's like a tying up of knots of like feeling the negative beliefs about yourself, negative things about you, And so like I'm seeing how they were playing out in your younger years, so prominently for you. And then how you're like, I'm going to expand my beliefs. I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to expand that's what I hear you saying. I'm going to expand my belief systems. There's other beliefs I can have about myself. There are positive beliefs I can have about myself, and to be also more in flow in your beliefs, like, allowing and not being constricted, because there's, an expansion in that of shifting the energy. So I'm just seeing how beautifully you're playing your cards and seeing how you're overcoming challenges and illuminating the shadowy, fearful stuff, like bringing it to the surface to move through it and out into the light.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's a really beautiful opportunity for me to just hear that reflection and let that kind of settle and think about it later.
Yeah.
Sure. It's this knowledge, I find it's helped me tremendously to clarify patterns that I already kind of felt were there. But it gives me a
Right.
language to talk about it so that I can pinpoint it. And then with that clarity comes greater ease of being. It's like my system relaxes a little more because I can see the patterns more clearly.
Yeah, that makes so much sense to me. And this modality that you're sharing is doing that for me as well as you're speaking. And it is really the power of like being open to different modalities, because I listen to different podcasts and different people, and it's the same kind of thing. It's like when I hear their frame and it validates what I've been feeling and thinking, it really just roots it even deeper. It's real. Yeah. So I totally relate to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that feedback. Thank you for sharing that. I want to say a little more about this Jack of Spades personality because it's also the archetype. It has many meanings, has many layers of meanings. We've touched on some. It's also the archetype of the spiritual initiate. As Vicky mentioned, spades
Mm.
symbolize consciousness. The spade is an acorn, and that acorn is a symbol of the pineal gland or the third eye. And the Jack of Spades is the prince of consciousness. And on the high side, that means illuminating consciousness, generating new beliefs, recreating our reality. That's the magic wand symbolism, that ability to create new realities. How have you seen that for yourself? How have you seen your ability to tap into that gift to reweave realities and recreate realities?
Yeah. I think that it started with finding the work of Howard Gardner. Um, because then I was, like you said, I reframed intelligence for myself and then also um, for other people. And I think what's coming to me right now is sort of this something that I'm facing lately a lot more is the challenge of people saying, oh, body set, body wisdom, oh, that's woo woo, whatever that means, right? And I'm trying to wave that wand and say, no, it's actually not nothing or just a feeling. It's actually rooted in research, it's rooted in science. The power of gesture is rooted in science. So I am feeling so deeply and strongly that it is my job to know this research and this science well so that I can really express and articulate and shift the mindset so people can open up to body set in a real way and allow it and for them to know that it's a tool for them to elevate their life in every aspect of their life. And so I am now, what's really interesting about this whole thing is that I'm now circling back to like what my insecurity was in school, where information, the way it was taught to me, it didn't really land. I have to be the teacher and the student of my own work. And I need to teach myself in a way that will stick and land in my body because it is my responsibility, I feel, to really awaken this for people all over the world.
Beautiful.
These people just need to do it. They need to do it.
My
That's where
friends
the,
and family are like, you're the expert.
like
Go ahead,
that's where
sorry.
the change happens is when they feel differently after they do the actual work. It's like that'll change their minds. It's yeah.
Exactly.
So take us through those three E's. Take us through your framework that you guide people through.
Yeah. So again, it's embody, empower, and elevate. Those are the phases, right? And from my experience, I really designed this because out of my experience, and I realized this is truly, I think, the human experience where we have experiences when we're younger that can take us out of alignment, disembody us. So we're not connected to the truth of who we are. For me, it was intelligence. For other people, it's, sexual abuse as a young child or adolescent, right? For some, it's just narratives that they were told or bullying or whatever it is. We experience the stuff. And that can have a great impact and take us out of alignment. So, embody, that phase is about that reconnection, re embodying, right? Realigning with who we are and digging into that disconnection story, not to relive or point fingers. It's more to look at it from a lens of curiosity and compassion to understand how we got here. And so once we are embodied, then we can feel empowered, right? So the next phase is about empower, and how do we live empowered? The goals that we set, the actions we put forth in front of us, the vision that we're now creating from this aligned, embodied place. This empowerment really is authentic. So we start charting the course of what that looks like. And then once we're there, we move into elevate. We're able to elevate, which is not only just feeling content with ourselves, right? Which is a part of it. It's about service, elevating, taking the work and the mission and the values out of ourselves to serve the world. So that's the framework. But the beautiful thing about this that I love so much is the permission that comes with, once we get to elevate, it doesn't mean that we stay there and we're done. We will inevitably get pushed out of alignment again. We will, move, get a divorce, we lose someone, whatever the transition is in our life, we can feel disembodied again. So it's a cyclical cycle that we're constantly moving through. We're elevating, we're serving, we're feeling amazing. Oh my gosh, life is great. Something happens. We have to re-embody, then feel empowered, and then elevate. And it's just a cycle that I feel is comforting for people to follow, because it's like, oh, right, I'm not just trying to achieve this thing, check it off the list, and now I'm done. This is really just a practice. And how we move through that framework is by using the power of gesture.
I love it. It's a simple framework. And kudos to you for creating a simple framework and keeping it simple for people.
Thank you. It's simple, it's relatable and accessible. And but in some ways it's not so simple, because it really, invites us to face our truth. And that is not always easy. But I create a very safe space for people to do it,
Beautiful. Jen, I have one last question. If you could have a billboard
Yeah.
that millions or even billions of people could see, what would it say and why?
I mean, just like what came to me, which seems, we hear this all the time, but like, I mean, it's several, but like, it's, you are enough. Like, I didn't feel enough. I didn't feel seen or validated necessarily. I mean, I did by my mother always, but there's a lot more than parental, validation. There's the peer pressure and all the stuff at school and everything. I didn't feel, and I was enough. I was perfectly perfect, exactly how I was. And so I just like see that, you are enough. It's very, very layered though. You know, I care so much about this work. And so there'd probably be like some kind of visual that really is like an offering of some kind, just like, I've got you. I hear you, and it's okay. I don't know what that is exactly, what that image is, but just letting people know that they're exactly where they're supposed to be.
Beautiful. I mean, that's a powerful spiritual teaching that's so simple, and yet that is the foundation of so much of what all the ancient wisdom teaches us and all the different traditions, is that you are loved, you are worthy, you are enough. I think that's the baseline for all the rest. And no surprise to me that with this Jack of Spades energy, archetypal pattern that you're playing through, that you would come to this spiritual realization, this very simple yet profound spiritual realization. And something that you said earlier too caught my attention, where you were talking about how it's more like a lifestyle. It's not, you don't just elevate once, it's a continual practice. And that too is a beautiful expression of that Jack of Spades in action, where it's about how do we continually redesign and design and recreate our reality the way we truly want it to be. And it starts from that simple realization that you had that you are enough.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful. Thank
It's
you.
all about the journey. You know,
Yeah.
it's our journey.
Well, and that's a
We're
group,
not cooked and baked and finished.
and that's another
It's like-
example of you playing
like
your
a
cards
turkey.
right, because somebody on the low side with the birth card of the Four of Clubs could think that everything is all settled and boxed in and wrapped up in a neat bow already. But you know of yourself that you want to continually reframe and continually expand what it is you already know and continue the research. And then you offer that research, as you said, to others, and helping others design their lives and their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. How can people find out more about you and your work?
Oh, they can come, they can visit my website, www.jenaks.com. You can also visit me on any of the channels. Instagram, I love because it's visual and it's video, and I love interacting with people there. But I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook as well. And, I do offer a free 30-minute class every Tuesday virtually. And that link is right on my website on the first page. So, because the power of gesture is new, it's not familiar. And so I wanted to give people an opportunity to experience it, experience me, experience the class. It's 30 minutes. So people can come to that anytime.
Get on Jen's email list. It's fantastic. She's always giving golden nuggets. And get the book. Let's see the book.
Yes, the book is right here. Your body is speaking. Just dropped on for 30.
And where do they get the book?
Amazon. You can go to Amazon. I recorded the audiobook, so fun. And I'm so proud of that. So any and all versions are there.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure. Thank you for your inspiration and for playing your cards right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I loved it. I love this conversation.
Our pleasure. Thank you. All right. And that's been another edition of Live from the Source with Alexander
And Viki.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next time.